it's a great idea, and it'll only grow over time. I think it's a great idea at 2 or 3 levels. The first, of course, is I think it's worthwhile in the sense that anything that we can do to get young people to be excited by the world of books, to discover the world of books, I think is certainly a worthwhile venture. And therefore, whoever thought of and is now executing the idea of IBLF, I think deserves credit for it. Ideas take time. And I'm sure over time, this will grow into becoming something really big. And I wouldn't be surprised if people who are here today will actually be able to look back several years later and say, I was there. I think it's really special. More than unmet demand, I'd probably say there is certainly a niche. There is a need for something like this, where people get a chance to discover nonfiction in particular. And I said this earlier in the day, where I think people read for one of 2 reasons. They read for pleasure or they read for profit. And at some level, I'd like to believe you read fiction for pleasure and you read nonfiction for profit. And a line that stayed with me from many, many years ago was this, that if you read a book which cost 299 rupees, but if that book helped you to avoid a heart attack, what would that book be worth? And I thought, what an idea. So the book might have cost you only 299, but the idea in it is so powerful and it's so valuable. And I think that's really what nonfiction books are all about. They allow you to learn something, to discover something that allows you perhaps to become just a little bit better. It could even save your life. What's that worth? I think the diversity of ideas and the kind of backgrounds that people might have had. So you had someone who was, let's say, an IAS officer who in times of COVID suddenly decides to look at the map of India and say, how did this map actually happen? Right? And from there, you have someone who says, I was a chartered accountant and I became a chartered accountant, not because I knew anything about finance, but because my brother said become a chartered accountant, and how he's gone on to a mission to make India financially literate. To a third author who's this young kid who suddenly says, what is it about brands that makes them work? And he's now not talking about brands that have been around for 50 years and 60 years, but about brands which have come up in the last few years, discovering new media, understanding internet, understanding the young consumer. So I think it's just this diversity of ideas and diversity of authors, which I found truly fascinating.